my name is Adam Adjan, and this video is prepared for Dr. Shiroki for Finance 139 Wednesday nights, 6 to 8:50 p.m. This case will be looking at the Ciba's acquisition of Allied Colloids against Hercules. We'll be answering 5 questions. The first question is, what caused Allied Colloids to become a takeover target? In any company, the reason why companies become takeover targets is usually because poor management. This makes sense because whenever a company is managed poorly, it means that the price of the stock is undervalued. So it could be trading at around $20 a share when really it should be trading around $30 a share. And if the company was managed properly, theoretically, then the stock should be selling at $30 a share. This is what happened with Allied Colloids. Hercules made an offer and the market realized that the stock price was a little too low and they reacted. This shows that there was something wrong with Allied Colloids and they must have been managed poorly, and that's why they became a takeover target. When Hercules made its offer, another company realized that they could also benefit from purchasing this company, and they also made an offer. It's almost obvious that whenever a company is undervalued, it becomes a takeover target because companies that trust their management can implement their own management system into the company that was acquired, the target company, and bring the company back to where it should be by implementing the proper management. The second question is, how did Ciba value the gains from the merger or acquisition? As stated in the case, Ciba had a strong balance sheet and they were in the market to purchase a company. Hercules, not so much. Hercules was trying to make the purchase because they wanted to expand into England. They only had a small factory in Bradford, England, while Ciba had a larger establishment already in England. Analysts said that this gave Ciba an upper hand in just saying that they were the ones who should acquire this target. Ciba's chairman of the board, Rolf Meyer, said, "This deal will enhance shareholder value by the end of 1999. This is a complementary business and will provide a platform for growth." Since the bidding war between Ciba and Hercules went way further than anybody had expected, the winner of the war seemed to have paid way more than the company was worth. Nonetheless, Ciba counter-offered Hercules' final offer of $195 per share to $205 per share. Ciba could have seen value in helping employees at Allied stay employed. This could be another reason why Ciba wanted to purchase Allied Colloids. Hercules was going to come in and cut the management, while Allied Colloids was referred to as a white knight who would come in and not only save the company from being managed poorly, but keep the current management and try to improve on that. The third question is, what effect did the acquisition have on Ciba's balance sheet and performance? The case started off by saying that Ciba had a strong balance sheet. However, reading through the news clippings, it seemed obvious that Ciba's balance sheet was affected by the acquisition. Although their cost of debt was way lower than Hercules' cost of debt, the impact of the acquisition was shown in Ciba's financial statements. Their debt-to-equity ratio changed dramatically, causing the riskiness of their company to rise. Although this was expected, they had to cut costs by cutting nearly 1,000 jobs. They came in as a white knight to save Allied Colloids, but they ended up paying such a high price for the per share that they had no choice but to cut costs. That's all they could do, is cut costs, and the only way they could do that is by cutting 1,000 jobs. The realization that cost cuts needed to be made after paying such a high price was obvious. Allied was also relocated to Basel, Switzerland. This caused the former CEO, David Farrar, of Allied Colloids to resign his position. That was what Hercules was going to do in the first place. They were going to fire probably the CEO and restructure the entire management to reflect their own. And Ciba came in and said, no, we're not going to do that, and they made the purchase, and eventually they did end up, they didn't fire the CEO, but because of different policies and location maneuvers, the CEO quit himself. Um, Although Ciba predicted that a strong positive relationship would be established by this takeover, this prediction did not come true. Slowly but surely, Moody's Investors Services was prepared to downgrade its rating. So even Moody's decided that they weren't doing as well. Their operating performance was weaker, quoted from Moody's. So it was the effect on Ciba's balance sheet was not beneficial. Question number 4: Who won? Who lost? Be specific. Although Hercules was technically the loser in the war, since obviously they didn't end up with allied colloids, and that's what they wanted, and Ciba did. However, Ciba's balance sheet and future performance were affected. Looking at it from a current perspective, it seems like Ciba won the battle but lost the war, to the negative effects of the takeover. Hercules stayed in business independently for many years after this event. Ciba did not. Many financial analysts thought that Hercules had defeated Ciba when they made the offer of 195p per share. Some even said that the 195 was too high. When Ciba came back around and offered 205p per share, analysts were looking at them like, what are you doing? So Ciba made, in my opinion, made a bad move by offering such a high price, and everything that followed was not what they had planned. Hercules was supposed to be the cost-cutting company that was going to restructure Allied Colloid's entire upper management, possibly even by firing the CEO, just to cut costs. Hercules management must have felt that since they were going to cut costs, that paying the 195p per share was acceptable. They were going to pay a high price, but they were also going to cut costs. Ciba, coming in as a white knight, paying more than what Hercules paid, and trying to keep the current management, all became a perfect storm, and the acquisition ended up not being as good as they had initially thought it would be. Question 5. Postscript. Search online and provide a brief postscript to the case since the acquisition. So after reviewing some of the online sources, it seemed like although Ciba was eventually sold and became part of a conglomerate, the product and structure of the company was maintained. Ciba may have paid too high of a price for Allied Colloids. However, looking at how the company did after it was sold was not as bad as initially thought. BASF Corporation is the largest affiliate of BASF SE and the second largest producer and marketer of chemicals and related products in North America. Being acquired by the second largest producer and marketer of chemicals is not a failure. BASF will pay 50 francs in cash for each Ciba share, 32% more than the closing price on September 12th. The German company Ludwigshafen, said in Today, shares of Basel Switzerland Ciba climbed 29% to 49 francs. Since the stock price went up due to the news of the takeover, it shows that the market believed that the merger was taking place because Ciba's stock price was undervalued. This shows that even Ciba's management had probably been performing poorly since the stock was undervalued, and they could have all stemmed from that purchase they made of Allied Colloids, ruining their balance sheet and sending the company onto a path that should not have been taken. And that is the case of Ciba versus Hercules in taking over Allied Colloids. Thank you.